Welcome to Extraterrestrial Reality. Today we're going to talk about the possibility of the White House disclosing the truth about the extraterrestrial/UFO reality in an effort to distract from the ongoing Jeffrey Epstein controversy and the Jeffrey Epstein files. But before we do that, I just want to provide a little update here on the Compton the Compton alien video. Of course, we've been talking about this recently on the show. I had Jessica Ortiz on. She's the Compton resident whose Ring camera captured this weird creature showing up near her house during the early morning hours of June 5th. And it's a very strange video, of course, and there's no explanation for it. And I just want to point out here, for one thing, I've been getting a lot of comments from people saying that the creature, when you see it in this video, that they think it's a fake because it appears over the basket. There's a basket there in the foreground, right? And the creature, as it moves by that basket, it's actually moving behind the basket. The basket is transparent. It is transparent. Okay, let me say this 3 times. The basket is transparent. The basket is transparent. The basket is transparent. Okay? Okay? And as I've talked about in previous episodes, there is absolutely no way that this video was faked. We have the metadata on it. We have the raw video. This was looked at and analyzed by crime scene reconstruction expert Scott Roeder of Ohio, and he made the determination that the video there's no way it could have been faked with any sort of special effects or CGI or anything like that. So you might as well throw that right out the window. And he also confirmed, I talked to him again about it today, the basket is transparent. The basket is transparent. Has everybody got that? And anyway, I just want to also point out that Scott Roeder tonight, as probably right around this time as I'm filming right now, he's going to be appearing on Los Angeles KNBC Channel 4 to talk about his findings with this Compton alien. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. But actually, this was something that was brought up on Los Angeles ABC affiliate, KABC 7. Just yesterday, and I just want to play this little video clip from what they were stating about it.
We want you to take a look at this video. We have it looped several times. It's gaining a lot of traction online, especially from paranormal bloggers and YouTubers. In an interview with the Daily Mail, the woman who captured the video, Jessica Ortiz, says her doorbell camera picked up something moving through her yard on June 5th around 1 a.m. But the motion-censored cameras on the outside of her home didn't pick up anything. Speculation of what it ranges from, people carrying plastic bags to children, and some who say it's really an alien. I think someone's messing with her.
Yeah. It looks like some kind of stunt.
It looks like a costume you buy when you're pretending to be an alien, right?
I would never just guess alien.
But it could be an alien. Let's not rule it out yet.
Right.
Come on. Let's do an investigation.
Ooh.
That's typical. I mean, usually when local TV channels talk about potential extraterrestrial, non-human intelligent creatures in videos, this is how they usually act. There's all this nervous laughter. They think it could, they laugh about it. They make a joke about it. It's always been like this. It's been like this for a long time. And of course, I would have to imagine that the report that we will see on Los Angeles NBC channel will be a little bit more serious than what we saw from KABC, because we're going to have Scott Roeder is going to be a guest on there explaining what's happening in this video. As I've talked about before, there's a lot of different strange aspects to this video, including the fact that there were 2 other cameras on the front of the house and in the back of the house that for some reason did not activate when this creature showed up near her house. Her Ring camera went off at just a little after 1 a.m. on June 5th, and that's what it captured. And she was alerted by Ring. She received a message from Ring saying this is what you got. She looked at it. She didn't understand what it was. For some reason, the camera in the back of the house and the camera in the front of the house didn't go off. And this creature, it walked through to the backyard. Then there's a noise that you hear, and that was the gate closing, according to Jessica Ortiz. If you haven't seen that interview that I had with her recently, there will be a link in the description so you can check it out for yourself. And I just think it was a very interesting case. And to me, it's very compelling. I mean, does it prove that extraterrestrials, non-human intelligence is here? No, but it comes pretty damn close. You have to also consider that 15 minutes before, her aunt, who lives right beside her in a different house, heard something landing on her roof, some sort of thump, a couple of thumps, loud thumps, and then some scratching sounds. It scared her so badly that she started to pray. So something weird was going on in Compton, apparently, on June 5th of this year. So I think that people need to, give this case a little bit more serious consideration instead of all this nonsense. Oh, yeah, well, you could see it through the basket, so that means it's a hoax. No, I'm sorry. It cannot be. It's not CGI. There's nothing. The basket is transparent, right? And you see what you see there. That's what it is. Could we say for sure that it's an alien? No, but it looks like one. Okay, it looks like an alien. That's what it looks like. Now, anyway, moving on, I want to talk about what's going on here with the White House these days and UFOs and the possibility that they may disclose the truth about this. Now, I don't know if this is going to happen. However, yesterday, there was a Democratic congressman from Florida, Maxwell Alessandro Frost, and he tweeted this out. He says, "The White House is about to drop proof of aliens." Well, this upset Matt Laszlo of Ask a Poll UAPs. Matt Laszlo does a lot of work out there on Capitol Hill, trying to dig for the truth with regard to UFOs and the UFO cover-up. He's always talking with different senators and congressmen about what's going on with hearings and whistleblowers and all that kind of stuff. He's regularly talking about this, investigating this, trying to get putting out reports about this. I'll leave links for his website as well as his Twitter account as well. But anyway, he didn't like that comment. He was very upset about it. He says, "Why don't you do your job instead of dropping bad jokes about serious topics?" Well, yeah, he was upset because he's what Frost was doing there. He was being sarcastic, by saying the White House is about to drop proof of aliens. As a lot of us know, over the last couple of weeks here, there's been a lot of controversy because the Epstein files were promised to be released, and then all of a sudden we were told that no, they're not going to be released. And then there's been a couple of different Wall Street Journal articles that have come out, and one just recently stating that Donald Trump's name is throughout the Epstein files. So people believe that what's going on here, a lot of Trump supporters also on top. It's not just Democrats; it's both sides of the aisle here. And before I continue, I just want to point out, this is not a political podcast. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about UFOs, aliens, disclosure, all that kind of stuff. But we have to address this because, it is a possibility at this point at this stage of the game. I mean, there is a serious effort here to try to distract people from this Epstein business. There's just no question about it. I mean, most people are seeing that at this, they're putting two and two together and they're coming up with four. Obviously, there's some reasons why the administration doesn't want this information to be released. It's been suspected that a lot of big names are in those files, and including the former President Bill Clinton. His name is in there. He's someone who used to pal around with Jeffrey Epstein. Donald Trump, we know, palled around with him, and we don't know what it says about him in these files, and so nobody can say for sure. But he is obviously trying to get people to forget about this. He said so. He said it himself. He doesn't want people to be thinking about this anymore. So I guess that even though Frost was making a joke and Matt Laszlo was upset about it, but you have to wonder, is it a possibility that this might be something that would happen? I don't know about that. For one thing, I don't think the military-industrial complex would probably not be too happy with the president coming out and disclosing the truth about this. That's one thing. But I do think if it did happen, that I think that there would be a distraction for sure. It would help distract. I don't know how effective, how long that distraction would last, because I think that there's still a lot of people out there who want to know whose names are in that Epstein file, because they believe, rightfully so, that these people who were involved in all of that business, they should pay. They should be in court. They should be in jail. I mean, if that's what they were up to. If there's evidence, if there's enough evidence out there that shows that some rich and famous people were involved in all of this stuff, which I'm not going to get into here. I'm not going to talk about that kind of stuff here. I try to keep it clean. Then then they should be convicted. They should be thrown in prison. That's unacceptable. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Bill Clinton. I don't care if it's Donald Trump. I don't care who it is. Right? If those people are implicated in this, and there's evidence that shows that they did these kinds of things, then all these people, and I think most people, I think, agree with this from both sides. I think this is a bipartisan thing for the most part. Yeah, there are some people that are trying to, play along and say, no, there's nothing to it, But most people, I would say, I'm hearing from that they want to see these files, and they think that these people should pay. They should. There's no question about it. That's unacceptable. But I guess if this happened, what would happen? I'm not sure. For one thing, what do presidents know? I think they have to know something about this, right? They have to. I mean, maybe they don't know the whole thing, the whole story with regard to this long cover up, this decades long cover up. Maybe they don't. They're not read in on everything. They're told something. They have to be told. All of these presidents, I believe, right? They would have to have been told something. Probably not everything, but they probably know enough. They know that we're not alone. They would have to. And we know that there's a cover-up. There's just no question about it. There's a bunch of different whistleblowers that have been stepping forward over the last, since 2017. We got a lot of people talking about this. Congress is trying to pass laws. They're trying to pass UAP transparency legislation. There's a cover-up. There's no question about it. But obviously, there's another faction within the Pentagon that doesn't want this story revealed to the world. They just don't. So, you would have to think that there's a lot of different factors that would go into this. So I don't think that the White House will do this. I put it this way: I would not be surprised if it did. I mean, nothing would surprise me at this stage of the game, right? I just don't think that it's something that they will try. But you never know. It has to be something that crossed some of their minds. If they're trying to distract from this Epstein business, then I would have to think that UFO disclosure may be something that's on the table now. But at the same time, you would have to think also that the powerful people that are within the military-industrial complex, they probably think otherwise. They don't want this to happen for whatever reason. Anyway, I actually took this up with ChatGPT. I asked them the question. I asked them. I asked ChatGPT questions with regard to this, and what would happen? Basically, if this was tried, if there was an effort made. Well, actually, if the White House decided to disclose this in an effort to distract from all this Jeffrey Epstein business. And this is the answer I received. It says, that's a compelling and complex question, touching on a mix of real-world political scandal, speculative disclosure, and public perception. And it says here, number 1, context check, Epstein files and Trump. As of now, there has been no official confirmation from credible government or legal sources that Jeffrey Epstein-related files are being withheld specifically to protect Donald Trump. Claims like these often circulate widely on social media and partisan platforms, but they should be treated with caution unless verified by official court documents or investigative journalism from reputable sources. That said, Epstein's connections to numerous political figures, including Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and others, have long fueled bipartisan suspicion and public outrage, especially regarding the lack of transparency following Epstein's death in 2019. And then number 2, it says Maxwell Frost's comment and alleged disclosure. It says, if Representative Maxwell Alejandro Frost indeed tweeted the White House is about to drop proof of aliens on July 23rd, it seems to be satirical or sarcastic in tone, especially when interpreted through the lens of ongoing scandals, for example, the Epstein files, political distractions, a long history of United States government secrecy around UFO/NHI. His comment would reflect a popular meme-like sentiment, and then they have it in quote here, it says, whenever something damning happens politically, aliens suddenly appear. Okay, and then number 3, it says, would disclosure be a convenient distraction? In theory, yes, absolutely. If the United States administration suddenly publicly confirmed the existence of intelligent non-human life and did so convincingly, it would likely be the biggest news story in modern human history, easily dominating headlines, pushing most other political news into the background. Yes, let me stop there for a second. Of course, there is absolutely no question it's the biggest story of all time. Actually, it's already been disclosed to the public, but a lot of people in the public don't even realize this. It's actually been through a grassroots effort. It was disclosed over a year ago when Scott Roeder, who I was just talking about earlier, confirmed that what occurred in Vegas, there's no question about it. There were non-human intelligent beings running around that Kenmore's family's backyard during the early morning hours of May 1st, 2023. We've talked about this on the show ad nauseum. There's absolutely no question that incident and all of the evidence associated with it proves beyond any doubt that we are not alone, that there's something here with us, right? There's absolutely no question now about that. So if the government were to actually disclose, and it seems very plausible, a lot of people are going to be, wow! Some people out there are already, like, there's not everyone's like us. Like, a lot of people who are listening to my podcast, right? We're already there. Right? We're already there. So if there's a disclosure, yeah, it's going to be great news and it's going to be something we're going to be talking about for a long time, but we're not surprised. We already know. There's a cover up, right? We already know that there's something here, that we're not alone. So when the government finally comes out with it, it's not going to really surprise a lot of us, but everybody else, right, who's out there who doesn't really understand the implications of this, right, and who never really took it seriously, it's going to blow their minds, absolutely blow their minds. So yes, there's no question that if the White House decides to take this route, if it uses the UFO disclosure as a way to distract from the Epstein stuff, well, of course, people are going to be talking about UFOs and aliens and non-human intelligence, and they're going to have scientists all over TV. It's going to change. It's all over the world, not just here in the United States. The United States is mostly focused on this Epstein business for the last couple of weeks, right? But if we're talking about the whole world all of a sudden, and it would be unbelievable. It would be spectacular. But I guess the question does come back, though. Would it distract enough, though? Would it provide the enough of a distraction? I still think there's going to be a lot of people out there that are still going to be clamoring for the release of those Epstein files. I still believe that that's not going to go away no matter what you do, even though, as far as everyone should be concerned, the government telling us finally after all this time that we're not alone, that is most certainly the biggest story of all time. But anyway, continuing here with what ChatGPT says, it says, however, there's key caveats. It says disclosure at that level would require immense coordination with national security agencies, global allies, and scientific institutions. It is unlikely such a revelation would be risked solely to protect or distract from a scandal involving any one individual, even a former president. It would require sacrificing strategic and scientific control over a highly sensitive and globally impactful narrative. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. I just think there are other factors at play here that we can't see that deal with the military-industrial complex, the secret control group, the entity that is responsible for this cover-up, the entity that is scaring whistleblowers as we speak. They don't want this out. I mean, in fact, we talked about just recently. I brought up the fact of how just a recent episode of the History Channel's program, The Proof Is Out There. They talked about the Las Vegas case, and it was complete disinformation. That's what it was. The purpose of that was to disinform the public about that incident. They did not show any of the video there was a 1 minute and 41 second 1 minute and 41 seconds worth of cell phone footage that the family filmed before they called 911 and before the cops arrived. That we looked at that, we analyzed that video. There's aliens there, just like the family was saying, just like the family stated. And yet, the proof is out there, which is owned by Hearst Communications and Walt Disney Company, also a part of the establishment. They don't want people to know the truth. They don't mind talking about it and speculating about the possibility, but they don't want people to know that we're not alone. They just, what did they do? They bring Mick West on, who knows nothing about that case, right? Absolutely nothing. He's just a debunker. I don't know who's paying him. He could be getting paid by the government, right? I don't know. But they brought him on. They didn't bring someone like Scott Roeder in to talk about it. They just brought Mick West in to say, oh yeah, all it was a meteor, when this could not have been a meteor. We have video that shows that was actually leaked from an Amazon robo-taxi that has the ability to film in infrared, right? Long wave infrared, and it showed that this object that came from the sky that ended up eventually landing into the backyard of the Kenmore family had no heat signature, right? It had no heat signature. It's not a meteor. But yet, that's what the proof is out there. All they brought on was Mick West. He said it's a meteor, and they said what the people saw in the backyard was likely a raccoon. That's what he said. They're covering it up. The government, there's most certainly active forces deliberately trying to cover this up. So I would believe any sort of attempt by the White House to try to release this was most certainly going to be but with pushback from the military-industrial complex, the Pentagon, the Secret Control Group. There's no way that there's most certainly an element in there that does not want this information released. So the president would have to be going against that. They would have somehow he'd probably have to get permission from them before he says anything. I would imagine. I don't know. I just think that there most certainly would be some pushback from the Pentagon if President Trump tried to do something like that. To try to say, you know what, this is what the situation is. We're not alone. We've been covering this up for years. He would have to provide a reasoning. There would have to be there would be so much kind of things that he would have to present to the public to try to explain why we were covering this up for so long. I mean, because he was president for 4 years before, from 2017 to 2020, or through 2020. So yeah, I just think that he would have to. It couldn't just be that, right? It couldn't just really say, we really have stuff. See, he would have to have other people backing him up on this, people from the Pentagon. I don't know if the Pentagon's ready to do that. And also all the different defense contractors that are most certainly part of this cover-up as well. He would have to get them all on his side. So this is why I don't see this being an option. I don't see this being an option for the White House if they were even thinking about using this as a distraction. But again, like I said earlier when I first started talking about this, would it surprise me? No, nothing at this point would surprise me. Nothing. And then finally it ends up, the other caveat here, the final caveat says, public trust is already fragile. If the public perceived the revelation as a political ploy, it could backfire massively, undermining both the claim of alien contact and any political party using it for deflection. Yeah, that's another thing. So, yeah, you would have to really have a lot of... you'd have to have some sort of solid evidence to present. I mean, does President Trump have access to that himself? Would the military-industrial complex provide that to him? I don't know. I just don't know. There's a lot of questions there. And then number 4 here, Trump's stakes. Donald Trump's political strategy often involves controlling media narratives and shifting attention, sometimes dramatically, using controversy, spectacle, or legal challenges. If alien disclosure were to occur while Trump was under pressure from Epstein-related revelations, some might argue it conveniently shifts focus, but such a disclosure would likely be outside of his direct control, especially if coming from the Biden White House. And then number 5, public reaction. If the United States government revealed we are not alone, public focus would undeniably shift, at least temporarily. But skepticism would be intense. Many would scrutinize the timing and authenticity. If seen as a wag the dog maneuver, it might trigger even deeper distrust in institutions. Others would welcome it regardless of motive, focusing on the implications of non-human intelligence. And then it provides a final thought here. It says, if alien disclosure does happen soon, it will have geopolitical, scientific, and psychological implications far beyond United States party politics. But the idea that it could be used to distract from Epstein-related scandals is a realistic narrative in a media environment accustomed to diversion tactics. Yet it would be an incredibly dangerous and short-sighted use of the most profound discovery in human history. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. Now, if something like this were... If we get the truth about UFOs from the government after all this time, because somebody wanted to just use it as a distraction, that's that tells you all you need to know about the human race right there, ladies and gentlemen. That would tell you all you need to know about the human race. Imagine that. Imagine if that's how the truth comes out. I mean, I want the truth to come out one way or the other, actually, be quite honest with you. If this is the way it comes out, this is the way it comes out. And again, it's an indictment of the human race and how we are and how we handle ourselves and how the people in power handle themselves. It would be a terrible thing, I think, in a way. At the same time, it would be great. This would provide a something positive on Donald Trump for all time, I would imagine. But at the same time, it would, some people will look at this and say, well, yeah, but he was using it as a distraction. It would be I just don't know. I don't know but is it possible? I guess anything is possible at this point. The way things have been going around, the way things are anymore, right? I think anything's possible. So I would not be surprised if something like that happened, even though this representative here was making a joke. And yeah, at the same time, I mean, we're talking about it. This is not outside the realm of possibilities. I mean, let's talk about what's been going on the last few years. We have a bipartisan effort, right, in the Senate and in the House to try to get legislation passed that pushes UAP transparency. I mean, there's people talking about this. They're talking about this in legislation. We're talking about it all the time. We're going to have another hearing coming up in September, apparently. Right? There's going to be another House hearing about this. It's just, we have David Grush, the whistleblower, talking about, we had we've recovered non-human biologics and alien craft. Right? They have it. They're reverse engineering it. There's no question about this. Ross Coulthard, all these different reporters and investigative journalists like Ross Coulthard are giving us information all the time. Look at all the stuff we get from Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp on a regular basis. There's more and more people stepping forward. There's more and more disclosures. We see more and more evidence. I just think that, for one thing, a lot of us already know. The ones who are interested in this subject, we've done enough research. We know that there's no question about it. There's a cover-up. But again, I think the vast majority of people out there don't really understand this. They don't understand. A lot of them are unsure. Like they hear this, and a lot of them don't care. But if this story were to break all of a sudden at this point in time, right, all eyes will be focused on that story, and it will provide at least a temporary distraction from all of this Epstein stuff. But I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know if it could plausibly happen. If it is possible, I don't know if there would be somebody in the Pentagon that would prevent the White House from doing something like this. I don't know. I'm not sure how this would work. We really don't understand how this cover-up operates and who's responsible for it. What powers do presidents have when it comes to this subject? I don't know. None of us do. I mean, could they do this? Is it possible for a president of the United States to tell the truth finally about this and just make a statement and present some evidence? I don't know. I mean, we don't know how this is set up. Something was established a long time ago during the Truman and then the subsequent Eisenhower administrations on how to handle this. And I think some of those laws or policies that were talked about and established back then are still in play today. I think we're still operating under policies that were established by people who are long dead, right? And so I don't know. I guess we're going to find out here as the weeks go on, right? We're going to find out. But I don't know. We'll see. It's just an interesting time. It's an interesting time to be alive, I would say. At the same time, if this were to happen, I'm not sure if it would provide that. People are still going to want to know about Epstein, despite the fact that they find out that we're not alone. I mean, for a week or two, right? People are going to be, it's unbelievable, isn't it? And then after time, people are going to be, what about the Epstein files? People aren't going to forget about it. They're just not going to. It's just too, it's too horrible. Some people want to know what happened there. They want to know who or the people that were involved in this, right? They want to know. They want to see that client list. That's what they want. Anyway, I was going to say this. I want to say thank you all for joining me today. Until next time.